LIC 304 LIC podcast. This is the movie review between high context and low context in cultures in Titanic 1997. Hey, what's up everyone? Hello Svu and hello Svu IC. It's Phoenixa from LIC. This is the LIC radio station and you are listening to the LIC podcast. With me today is my bestie girlie, our guest, Gaoli. Welcome back again.
Hi girls.
And our behind the scenes, Brainiac Basita.
Hi everyone, glad to be here again.
She is a lovely researcher and my bestie as well. Nice to meet all of you here again and welcome back in the pod. And today we're going way back into 1912. But with a twist, we're talking about Titanic, the epic love story, the fancy boat, the sad ending, and today we're not just crying about Jack and Rose anymore, We're diving into how this movie nails the difference between high context and low context cultures. Want to dug up all the juicy facts together? Y'all ready?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So let's get started. Alright girls, tell it to me straight now. What even is high context and low context? Anyway, what is the high context and low context cultures? How does this showed up in Titanic?
Okay, picture this. Jack is a what you see is what you get kind of guy. Super chill, say what's on his mind. That's a low context culture where people say things straight out. No decoding need, which is the opposite of high context.
Oh, then, about Rose. She's from a super posh first-class world. In her world, people don't say stuff directly. You got to read between the lines, know the social rules, and keep the appearance. That's high context, right?
Yes, people don't always say things
Yeah.
directly. You have to get the vibe. There's a lot of reading between the lines, noticing facial expression, tone, or even silence. Family, tradition, and social expectations play a huge role. So even though they're both speaking English, they're literally from different communication worlds.
So you're gonna tell me it's basically the Titanic wasn't just split into rich or poor, it was split into cultures too, right?
Yes, the upper class passenger like Rose and her mom use super formal speech and polite smile, but also a ton of unsaid stuff.
I can see that. Like, she's from a really wealthy upper class family where people don't say things out loud. They just know how things are supposed to go. Like, her mom never say, "Marry Carl because we are broke." But we feel it in every look and word.
Yeah, but when it comes to Jack, it's gonna be like I'm just trying to draw people and live my life. Pure low context energy. He says what he thinks, makes jokes, flirts, paints nudes, no filters. He doesn't care about stated or tradition. He's all about expressing himself and living in the moment,
Yes, and remember that dinner scene with the Jack and the fancy frogs? Total culture clash.
Totally, Jack's being his charming, storytelling self, but you can feel the tension between Rose's mom and Cal. They're judging him silently. That moment is high context versus low context on full display.
So, with the Jack and Rose, our stars, the love story is a crash course of communications, like in communication styles.
Yes, Rose learns to express herself more openly thanks to Jack, and Jack gets a glimpse into a world where every little thing has a hidden meaning. Their love story works because they're from opposite communication style, but they learn from each other.
So it's like culture training and kissing and dancing at the party below the decks. How romantic.
I know, right?
Yeah, and I feel like Jax is emotionally open and he tells Rose that she's strong and that she can break free. And he invites her into his world with a harshness.
Exactly, but when it comes to Rose, it's gonna be like, in the other hand, Rose starts very reserved, but the more time she spends with Jack, the more times learn to speak for herself, to break out of the unspoken rules of a high context world, some stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, they're teaching each other with new ways to express love and identity.
Yes, Jack helped Rose say what she wants, and Rose showed Jack there's depth in reading between the lines too.
Okay, that's the point. But shifting gears a bit, how much does social class play into all of this? We want to know maybe a little bit of this.
I would say a lot in Titanic. The cast divide mirrors cultural communication style. The upper caste, like the first class passengers, live in a high context environment. They care about image, manners, and tradition. Everything's upper subtle, but for the lower caste, the third class passengers communication more directly. They laugh louder, dance freely, and don't hide their emotions. It's more open and expressive, aka low context. The way people interact, even where they eat and party, shows their cultural norms.
Yeah, I see it now. Well, rather than that, I heard something interesting, like the academic side of the high and low context about the movie. So this whole idea actually is not about the movie, but about the low context and high context itself. So this whole idea comes from Edward T. Hall. Who is Edward T. Hall anyway?
Yes, he is a cultural anthropologist. In his book Beyond Culture, he introduced the idea of high context and low context communication. He explained that in high context culture, communication is layered. People rely on context, shared story, shared history, and subtlety. In low context culture, it's more literal. What you say is what you mean.
Oh, that explains how Jack represents though, like a low context individualistic culture. He's all about freedom, like directness and expressing who he is. But Rose for his high context and collective, her choices are shaped by family, tradition, and reputation. She expected to play her role quietly. Yeah, that's what I saw.
Wow, this is deep. Jack and Rose are like a real life culture experiment on board.
Yes, there are a nice example of this.
So their love story, their story shows that crossing cultures is tough. Definitely, but also beautiful. When we understand how people communicate differently, we can connect better. That's the point, right? Like our lovely researcher, Vasita.
Yes.
Okay then, real talk now. What can teens like us? We are teens. We are also teen like people around the world right now. Maybe 80% are teens like us. How can they or us learn from all of this? Why does this even matter anyway?
Great question. Since we all come from different backgrounds, some of us are more direct, some more indirect, but that doesn't mean one way is wrong. Understanding communication styles help avoid drama. If someone doesn't text you back right away or speak super directly, it might just be cultural, not personal.
Yeah, I also noticed that understanding how people communicate differently is huge. Like sometimes your friends might be acting weird, but not because they mad, but because they come from a more high context background, or someone texts a super dialect or is feel rude, but really they are just a low context.
Yes, and even in friendships, knowing that someone communicates differently can change how you see them.
And you know what? Actually, I just noticed something. Jack and Rose remind us though, like if you take time to learn someone's world, you can build amazing connections. Even if your ship is sinking.
Yeah, exactly. I see the end of the movie. Like how they look at each other for the last time. That is super high context. No cap.
No cap.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap. We just broke down Titanic like never before, from sinking ships to subtle stairs. We've seen how culture shapes every moment, you know. Huge thanks to my girls, Kelly and Vasita. Thank you, girlies. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's so nice to be here making a podcast with you again.
Absolutely. I hope with all of my heart that we will be able to make it out together again.
Me as well. Alright, thank you to my girls for bringing the vibes and making us smarter. You know, don't forget to follow the pod, rewatch the Titanic with your culture goggles on from now on. And always remember, communication is more than just words. This is an LIC radio station, and you're listening to the LIC podcast. Catch y'all next time on the pod. Bye. Bye, girls.
Bye.